You need to understand this. You were not born to depend on others for your happiness. The belief that someone must complete you or that being alone means you are broken or failing is a harmful misconception. If you keep waiting for someone else to make you happy, you could be waiting indefinitely. The truth is, you already have within yourself everything needed to live, grow, and even thrive on your own. This is not about becoming isolated or avoiding others. It's about building emotional independence. Emotional independence is a skill developed through practice, challenge, and discipline. No one is born knowing how to rely on themselves. It is something you train and strengthen over time. Once you learn it, no one can take it away from you. One of the most valuable things you can do for your mental well-being, personal goals, and future connections is to learn how to enjoy your own company. The modern world is full of constant distractions, messages to stay busy, keep connected, scroll endlessly, and respond instantly. But ask yourself, when was the last time you sat quietly with your own thoughts without feeling the urge to escape? Without feeling uncomfortable in the silence? That discomfort signals that you may not yet be at ease with yourself. And that's where your growth begins. Strength alone is built by creating habits that nourish you. Habits done for your own fulfillment, not for display. Wake up and journal. Read a book. Take a walk. Cook for yourself. Go out to dinner alone. Learn a new skill, not for recognition but because you deserve that care and attention. You stop waiting for others to treat you well and start treating yourself well. Solitude is where self-awareness grows. Surrounded by constant noise, opinions, and validation, it's difficult to hear your own thoughts. In silence, you can hear them clearly, your doubts, fears, and self-criticism, but also your truth. What you want, what matters to you, and what you believe, not what you've been told to believe. That clarity is powerful. Confidence doesn't come from approval. It comes from trusting yourself. It's not built in group chats or social gatherings. It's formed in moments where it's just you, the challenge, and your choice to move forward. Every time you support yourself, especially when no one else does, you strengthen the person you are becoming. Being strong on your own doesn't mean rejecting relationships or connection. It means not depending on them for peace, validation, or happiness. When you are strong enough to be happy alone, you stop settling. You stop clinging. You begin making deliberate choices. You choose better friends, partners, and environments, because you are no longer afraid of being by yourself. That is where your strength lies. If you are in a period of solitude right now, don't rush to escape it. Don't drown it out with constant distractions. Lean into it. Build good habits. Strengthen your routines. Take time to reflect. Take responsibility for your growth. Stop holding others accountable for your emotions, and start developing the resilience to manage them. You do not need anyone's permission to be enough. You already are. But you do need a plan. You need discipline. You need consistent practice. Most importantly, you need to stop running from yourself. Your priority now is to become strong enough to be happy alone, so that when the right people come along, they add to your life rather than define it. Here's the truth about solitude that's not often said. No one is coming to rescue you. That ideal partner, that perfect group of friends, that mentor who will solve all your problems, they may never appear. Stop waiting. Stop placing your happiness in the hands of people who aren't even in your life yet. You must learn to be your own rescue mission. Many grow up believing that happiness depends on others, that finding the right person or group will make life whole. While community matters, it should never be the emotional crutch you need just to function. When your peace depends on others showing up, what happens when they don't? You collapse. That's why learning to stand on your own isn't optional. It's essential. Time spent alone pushes you to face the parts of yourself you usually avoid. It's uncomfortable. You might want to pick up your phone, call someone, or find a distraction. But what if you did? What if you stayed in that silence and listened? That is where strength begins. Not in comfort, but in facing yourself. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is an emotional state. Being alone is simply a situation. You can feel lonely in a crowded room, but when you are strong enough to enjoy your own company, You create an inner world that is rich, calm, and fulfilling, regardless of who is present. That is emotional independence. That is maturity. That is real strength. Take ownership of your time, your energy, and your decisions. Use solitude not as punishment, but as preparation. Read books that challenge how you think. Set goals that challenge you. Explore who you truly are and what you genuinely want in life. If you don't know what drives you, you'll keep pursuing relationships that distract you rather than ones that help you grow. Understand this. You are capable of building a life you love, even if no one is cheering for you right now. You are not falling behind. You are not broken. You are in a stage of shifting from loneliness to empowerment. A phase that shapes you even if it feels uncomfortable. Growth can hurt, but it is essential if you want to become someone who stays grounded when others walk away. When you are strong enough to be happy on your own, your standards rise. You stop accepting minimal attention. You stop explaining your worth to people who don't value it. You stop tolerating inconsistency. You've done the work. Spent time with yourself. Validated your own emotions. Stopped waiting for someone to choose you. And started choosing yourself. That is the kind of strength that transforms your life. Think about how much time has been spent hoping others would notice your value or treat you better. What if you redirect that energy toward yourself? What if you became the person you've been waiting for? You want loyalty. Be loyal to your own goal. You want love. Treat yourself with kindness. You want support. Build a daily routine that sustains you even on hard days. This is what real strength looks like. Consistent, quiet, and intentional. It's saying no when you used to say yes, just to be accepted. It's showing up for yourself when no one is paying attention. It's protecting your peace over chasing temporary approval. You don't need to be surrounded by people to be valuable. Your worth has never come from the outside. It has always been within you. Maybe you forgot, or maybe no one told you before, but now you know. And now it's on you to live that truth. Stop hiding in the crowd. Stop using others as an escape from your own potential. This is your moment, your training ground. Build your confidence, your clarity, and your emotional resilience, so that when life becomes chaotic, you don't fall apart, you rise. You've got this, and more importantly, you've got yourself. That's enough. Many fear being alone because they think it means something is wrong with them. Society has conditioned you to believe that if you aren't constantly dating, surrounded by friends, or busy with others, you are somehow incomplete. But that fear simply reflects how little time you've spent getting to know the real you. When you understand who you are, and genuinely like yourself, being alone stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like strength. It's time to reframe the story entirely. Solitude is not isolation. It is creation. It's the space where your best ideas emerge, where your next version is shaped, and where your purpose becomes clearer. When you are always surrounded by others, you absorb their energy, opinions, and expectations. Without noticing, you can begin living in a way that focuses on pleasing others, rather than following your own inner guide. That's why time alone is a gift. It's space reserved for you to check in, realign, and build something genuine. You learn how to be your own best friend. You stop abandoning yourself to seek approval. You start holding yourself accountable in ways no outside relationship ever could. You become someone who doesn't just survive alone, but thrives. Real power is waking up and knowing you don't need a message back to feel valuable. You don't need someone's company to enjoy your day. You don't need permission from others to rest, grow, create, or celebrate. That freedom is what many chase but rarely find, because they look for it in someone else instead of within themselves. The process of becoming happy alone makes you face your biggest challenge, your own mind. You will hear your doubts, your old wounds, and your limiting beliefs. But you cannot heal what you constantly avoid. Alone time gives you the chance to finally hear those thoughts and challenge them. That's where the change happens. You realize you are not your thoughts. You see that confidence does not come from outside praise. It comes from learning not to believe every negative thing you think about yourself. This shift is not instant. It's daily effort. It's keeping small promises to yourself. It's choosing to sit with your feelings, process them, and grow instead of escaping them. It's noticing the urge to call someone just to fill the silence, and choosing instead to breathe, write, take a walk, or reflect in gratitude. Strength is built not in grand moments but in small, consistent choices. When you choose yourself instead of distraction, consider how often you have made decisions simply to avoid being alone, staying in unhealthy relationships, agreeing to things that drain you, or filling your days with noise. That kind of living keeps you dependent, reactive, and stuck. But when you take ownership of your alone time, you become intentional. You set higher standards. You say no with certainty. You create room for people and opportunities that truly match your values, because you are no longer afraid of solitude. And here's the deeper truth. Being happy alone doesn't mean shutting others out. It means building the foundation for healthier relationships in the future. When you connect with others out of choice rather than need, everything changes. You become magnetic, not because you chase, but because you are steady and whole. You attract people who match your energy instead of draining it. That is the reward for doing the work. If you're thinking, but it's hard, good, it's meant to be, growth always. You are literally retraining your mind to stop seeking safety in others and start finding it in yourself. That is some of the most courageous work you will ever do. Feeling discomfort doesn't make you weak. It means you are facing what most avoid. So stay in the room. Stay in the silence. Keep building the habits. Keep showing up for yourself, even when it's inconvenient. The strength you're building now is not just for today. It's for every future version of you who will walk into a room with their head high. Not because someone encouraged them, but because they know exactly who they are. You don't need to prove anything to others. You just need to prove to yourself that you can handle your own company. Once you do, you unlock a level of self-trust that no one can take away. Keep going. You're not becoming someone else. You're returning to who you've always been. One day, you will look back on your time alone, not with regret but with gratitude. You'll see it as the season you built yourself, stopped searching outside for validation, and rooted your worth deep within. You'll realize the security, peace, love, and acceptance you once chased in others were always things you had the power to give yourself, and that changes everything. At first, being alone can feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. The silence may feel overwhelming. The absence of outside affirmation may make you question your path. Quiet moments might bring up emotions you thought were gone. But that's the work. It's the part most people avoid. They rush into the next relationship, social event, or distraction, because even a brief moment of loneliness feels unbearable. But growth is uncomfortable. Transformation is uncomfortable. If you want to be strong enough to be happy alone, you have to get comfortable with discomfort. Start by being honest with yourself. Ask the hard questions. Why do I fear being alone? What am I avoiding when I always need to be around others? What beliefs have I adopted that make me think I'm not enough unless I'm needed, loved, or praised? That's where breakthroughs begin. Not in constant action, but in awareness. Because once you have answers, you can start rewriting them. And you can only rewrite what you're willing to face. Much of our inner chaos comes from looking for outside solutions to problems that live inside us. You might think that if someone loved you the right way, you'd finally feel secure. Or that if you had the perfect group of friends, you'd feel fully accepted. But the truth is, you will never feel complete with others. If you are divided within yourself, you must become your own anchor, your own supporter, your own safe place. When you are happy alone, you stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop reshaping yourself to fit other people's expectations, just to feel included. Instead, you show up as your authentic self, grounded and clear about your values. That's not arrogance. It's self-respect. And that's the kind of person who builds a life intentionally, not by chance. Time alone gives you the space to discover what truly matters to you, what excites you, what drains you, and what brings you peace. When you start paying attention to that, you begin building a life that feels aligned, not just busy. You fill your days with activities that energize you from the inside out. Whether it's developing a new skill, improving your health, writing, cooking, or simply resting without guilt, each choice becomes an act of self-respect. You're no longer living for approval, you're living for yourself. The beauty of this is that when you are strong enough to be happy alone, you open the door to the most meaningful relationships, not because you need them, but because you're ready to share your overflow. You're not searching for someone to save you. You're looking for someone who complements your wholeness, not completes it. You attract people who recognize your light, not because it fills their emptiness, but because it reflects their own. When you stop fearing solitude and start embracing it, you begin to see it as training for the future. Each day alone becomes a lesson in discipline, resilience, and self-compassion. Every quiet moment becomes a chance to build the kind of mental and emotional strength no outside circumstance can shake. This is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about becoming so rooted in who you are that nothing can pull you off course. You stand firm. You make decisions from clarity instead of desperation. You move through life with quiet confidence, knowing that whether you are surrounded by people or standing on your own, you are whole either way. So don't rush this season. Don't wish it away. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. When that relationship is strong, everything else, your work, your goals, your relationships become stronger too. You were never meant to be completed by someone else. You were meant to complete yourself, and then choose to share that wholeness with the world. One of the greatest misconceptions is that happiness is something you find in another person. You may believe that love will fix you, that companionship will heal you, and that relationships are the key to fulfillment. But the truth is, real happiness begins the moment you stop searching for it in others and start building it within yourself. The strongest, most lasting kind of love is the one you develop with yourself. When you become strong enough to be happy alone, solitude stops feeling like emptiness and starts becoming your greatest asset. It's in that quiet space that clarity is born, confidence is forged, and your inner voice grows louder. You begin to recognize what you truly want, not what you've been conditioned to chase. That awareness only comes when you turn down the noise and give yourself permission to listen. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that once you have the relationship, the friend group, the job, or the recognition, you'll finally feel complete. But if you can't feel okay with yourself now, nothing external will ever be enough. It will only be a temporary fix, a distraction, because no matter where you go, you take yourself with you. If you don't like who you are when it's quiet, that's where the work begins. Strength comes when you stop running from solitude and start embracing. You stop waiting for someone to validate your feelings and start validating your own. You stop relying on approval and begin creating your own standards. You understand that your peace, growth, and joy are your responsibility alone. And when you take full ownership of that, you become unshakable. This isn't about closing yourself off or never needing anyone. It's about becoming emotionally self-sufficient. It's knowing that even if everyone walked away, you'd still stand, still believe, still create, and still live, because you've built a foundation no one can take from you. That kind of strength is built in small, consistent choices. In the early mornings when you move your body with no audience. In the quiet nights when you reflect instead of distracting yourself. In the moments when you set boundaries, say no, and protect your peace, even when it's uncomfortable. That's not selfish. It's self-respect. You realize that being alone doesn't mean you're unloved. It means you're free to love yourself fully without interruption. From that place, you stop chasing people who don't value you, stop settling for half-hearted connections, and stop tolerating chaos just to avoid silence. Instead, you become deliberate about who you allow into your life. When your inner world is calm and fulfilled, you don't seek drama or external validation. You've already given yourself what you need. You begin to understand your capacity. You see that you can handle discomfort, boredom, and loneliness, and still grow stronger. Each time you choose to stay present with yourself during difficult moments, rather than escaping into someone else's presence, you build resilience. That resilience brings a quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. One day you'll realize you're no longer waiting. Not for the call, the invitation, the apology, or the rescue. Because you've become the one who gives yourself what you need. You set the standard, define your worth, and create your own joy. When you walk into the world from that place, everything shifts. People will experience your energy differently. You'll attract connections that align with your truth, rather than your fears. You'll stop clinging to what's merely comfortable and start reaching for what's truly right. That's what being strong enough to be happy alone does. It doesn't cut you off from others. It lifts you higher. So if you're in that stage now, learning to stand firmly on your own, quiet the noise, and find peace in your own presence, understand this: you are not behind. You are ahead. You're doing the kind of inner work many avoid for a lifetime. That work makes you unshakable. You're not only becoming stronger, you're becoming free. And there is nothing more powerful than someone who knows how to be happy, whole, and fully alive alone.